match. So we're already a bit into the draft. We can see that Bruno's popped all these wonderful heroes up for us, and I'm sorry, but I don't think Mickey's going to be joining us for the cast.
What a shame.
Mickey takes a lot out of you. I'll just say that much.
I bet it does. I bet it does.
So I have these big questions, and this is mainly for Andy. This is the American Civil War. Who's the North and who's the South?
That is actually a hard question.
Team Liquid have Canadians in their team.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid would have to be the North.
Makes sense.
I mean, they're evil geniuses, which is the South, which is interesting because the South were portrayed as like the bad guys in the Civil War, at least.
Because they lost.
Well, yeah, that's how
history is written by the winners, obviously, yeah.
So in that case, I suppose it's a little bit fitting. And like James said before we got into the draft, both teams are 1 and 2. So this game has a lot on the line. The team who wins, they're looking to be a lot better in the league because we talked about Na'Vi. They've played actually 6 games in total, and they're even as well. So you're still looking at a pretty good shot in the top 4 if you come out on top here, especially since EG just beat one of the favored to go to DreamHack after placing top 4 in Alliance. They're looking pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with this new roster, with this new way of playing the game, it will all come down to whether the teams can finally find their style. And when a new patch comes, you have to rediscover your style as well. You have to start playing differently, maybe just... If you're lucky enough, what worked before still works for you. But in the case of both Liquid and EG, I think these are the 2 teams that are mostly exploring new stuff. Medusa worked perfectly for EG last game.
Yeah.
Well, Liquid have something in their sleeves that will work for them as well.
I guess we'll have to see. We can already see aggression coming out on the side of Evil Geniuses with a Clockwork, a CM, and a Lifestealer. So they've already shown the want to play the early game. So far, Team Liquid has more ambiguity to it. They have a Venomancer and they have a Prophet, so they have some split push potentially after the laning phase kind of breaks down, and they have at least a strong lane support. So their options are more open-ended, but EG with those heroes, you already know that they want to try to force the engagements.
5 seconds remaining.
And if you see a Clock and a Lifestealer here, you can still see the potential of investing into the Clockwork, getting to the jump there. We also see the Crystal Maiden as well. Now here, ideally, we're missing maybe a mid and another support. Could be that the Clockwork might be played as a support. We don't see that.
Could be mid too.
Could be mid too as well. Do you think there's any hero that fits particularly into this? Okay, let's say you're Fear right now. What's your next pick?
I'd probably go for my support first because I haven't seen Team Liquid pick their mid yet. And in a team composition where you want to try to run for the mid game, you kind of want to make sure your mid either has high aggressive potential or is going to win his lane. So since they haven't seen that, I assume they go for the support here. The Venge is a nice counter pick to the Clockwork just to be able to swap people out of a bad situation. But the interesting thing for me is that Team Liquid, they're a team of no escapes. So whenever they commit to a fight, you're kind of going all in on that fight, unless you're the Prophet and you can TP to another lane and try to counter push. So for Team Liquid now, I don't really know what they're going to go for in terms of carry. If I'm Fear and I'm on the side of Evil Geniuses, I'm feeling pretty good about my draft. I don't know what necessarily he's thinking about what he wants to pick, but I'm thinking support for sure.
Question. I don't know if you remember, but old Na'Vi, maybe like early 2012 Na'Vi, for one time, maybe about 2 weeks to a month, they decided to run very, very aggressive push. And they had Nature's Prophet, and they had a dual lane mid with Boss on the Vengeful Spirit as a carry, with the Venomancer played by Arsart. And they had this dual lane mid, making the Vengeful Spirit get quick levels, get this aura just to start pushing. And then the Venomancer just roaming around. They wrap this up with maybe a jungler and a strong carry that could solo. Maybe a Weaver, maybe something like that. I mean, at that point, the carry in the safe lane is the least important hero, just because you have all the other things working around. You can even put a Beastmaster in the safe lane if you want it. Do you think this works in this metagame right now, getting... I'm talking especially about the Vengeful Spirit Venomancer mid.
Well, against this team, I would say no, because, again, they haven't picked their mid yet. EG are going to last pick their mid. Now, Team Liquid has a bit of an advantage in that regard because they are the last pick, so they can still potentially trump whatever EG are going to be showing, but it's still nice to pick your mid later. Now, in regards to what you were saying, with the Venomancer and the Vengeful Spirit mid, you will be able to shut down the hero mid, but Nature's Prophet, you can't really gank for that hero, and you know that the Lifestealer is going to be down there with the Crystal Maiden and a Wisp for sure. So whatever roaming is going to be coming out of the Venomancer, where do you go? Do you go to the safe lane to try to kill a Clockwork who can just cogs? And cogs is more than enough to offset a Gale in of itself anyway. I feel like you're kind of throwing the Venomancer away in that situation if you end up putting a dual lane mid, because he'll simply have nothing to do. And Team Liquid, their next choice is going to be the Batrider, so they decide to pick up their mid before their carry. And of course, there are still going to be one more ban coming out from each team before the last heroes are picked. So EG definitely looking to ban out a carry here. But dual lane mid for Liquid, I'm not so sure about that.
Given what you were saying about Doom being such a strong counter to Lifestealer, would that be a reasonable ban here for EG, or is there just not room for him in TL's team?
If they picked up a Doom, their team composition would be relatively greedy. And I guess they banned a greedy hero anyway. They banned Luna, which is kind of greedy in the same way, except that Luna can push a little bit sooner. So if EG can make it to the mid game without losing too many towers, that's going to be where they flourish, because a Wisp wants map control more than anything else, because that way you can have your team split up. Somebody farms one side of the map with the Wisp, 3 people on the other side, you know, doing whatever. And then you can continue to apply pressure and still effectively use the map. So I do like that ban quite a bit from EG. Plus, Luna is a very good hard carry. Not necessarily great mid game, but once you get a full inventory, can out carry most everything. So I think it is warranted here. And Team Liquid are just afraid of the initiation potential and the fighting potential of EG as they take out a puck and EG just pick up another initiator.
Okay.
Yeah, it says, well, it didn't work for BP versus Alliance last game.
Yeah.
But maybe it can work for us, because Liquid has an entirely different thing. They still have the Batrider. But that's where the similarities end, pretty much. The rest of the team, Liquid, as you said, much more, we have to fight. We can't really run away. If you get a good jump there with a Lifestealer inside you, I'll relocate someone else. Maybe
lots of stuff for him to
You have the potential to move so many people into a team fight and so much mobility. I'm not sure Team Liquid will be happy getting these 5v5 engagements in the middle of nowhere. They will have to plan accordingly.
Lots of people to jump too, like you were saying. Not much escape. Jump Venge, jump Veno, even Prophet. Slaughter.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Me likey.
It's going to be interesting.
I actually very dislikey because here's my problem with that. You have Universe on Clockwork and a Lifestealer and a Storm. You have 3 targets who you kind of want to go for, but at the same time are all hard to go for. Because if you're going for Clockwork, there's a good chance you're going to be stuck in cogs. If you go for the Storm, if you don't kill him in a stun, you're not killing him. And then the Lifestealer, you have to wait to amp until after he rages. And you're probably not going to be able to get him anyway, just because he's going to be infested into the Storm. So this is kind of an all-in-ish type of a pick. And again, this is a team who basically does not know the word retreat. They are just going to fight and fight and fight until they die. And EG are kind of running the same thing. They have some escape potential, just defensive cogs and things like that, and Storm being able to ball out. I would say that EG have a better draft here, but it's not to say that Liquid can't win. I would just say that their game plan is a bit different.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the top lane right there, and I see with the Slardart, Veno, and Vengeful Spirit, they might not have the biggest range, but that Clock will have a tough time just trying to get away from them. He will need perfect cogs, otherwise he will be fooled. While the Nature's Prophet, as you know, with the Wisp in that tri lane, the tri lane is not as scary anymore. In the sense that, yeah, if the Crystal Maiden Novas you or Frostbites you and you get an open wound, you might die. But the Nature's Prophet doesn't work that way. He just gets the trees to get the creeps towards him, maybe get some experience. Things aren't working out for him, he can go to the jungle. Clock? Not really.
Given what you guys were saying about them having an all-in fight until the fighting's done kind of team, might they not go with an aggressive tri lane here and put Nature's Prophet in the safe lane up against Clock?
They could go for a tri lane just because they have a Veno. I want to just say really quick, we are inside of the game.
Yeah. Okay.
We have pause right now, so that's why we're kind of just sitting around here talking about a whole heck of a lot of nothing. So hopefully we can get the game up for you guys here in just a second. But for the time being, I think aggressive tri lane would work. Because Gale is ridiculously strong at low level, and then you have a hero like Wisp who doesn't really contribute anything during a laning phase. That's one of the biggest weaknesses. And back when he was really popular, the Western scene knew how to deal with him because it was picked so much. It's like, oh yeah, we just aggressively lane versus the Wisp and we win, because the Wisp can't get to level 6 and then the carry gets shut down. But now it's a bit different because the lineups are much more, we'll say, gaming oriented.
Gaming oriented.
Gaming oriented.
By the way, the pause is done.
Awesome.
We're now inside of the game. Excellent.
And we go there.
We were practicing the into the game noises in the car.
Well done.
That's how we spend our time.
Okay, so what do you say? Like, we don't normally do this, but let's say who's playing what where.
Okay, good call.
Imperium. Want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Amazing.
Okay.
Let's start left to right.
Yeah, left to right. We got, actually, let me bring up this because it's easier this way. We got Fear on the Lifestealer. Saw him play very well as Medusa last game. Fogged on Crystal Maiden. JO on the IO, or Wisp if you want to be old school about it. You got MSS on the Storm Spirit, Universe on the Clockwork. Over on Team Liquid, you got TC, who will be the #1 for Liquid. You got Koikva on the Nature's Prophet, Fluff on the Venno, Bulba on the Batrider, and Way Too Sexy on the Vengeful Spirit.
And we see again this duel that we saw last time. The not Nature's Prophet, the Storm Spirit versus the Batrider. Last time, it was kind of a wash, really, because even though the Batrider got some kills with the help of Ake, then he went too greedy and got a couple of deaths as well.
Holy shit.
What will happen this time? There's lots of reach and pull to the Storm Spirit.
The movement coming out from Liquid is probably going to be non-existent. So this is just going to be a 1 versus 1 matchup, and it's going to be dictated more or less by player skill. In the matchup itself, it's still even, because again, we saw what happens when you try to dive a Storm. It really, really hurts. So it's going to be up to MSS and Bulba themselves to decide who comes out on top here. But I still feel like it's going to be more or less a wash. You just can't play aggressive if you're either hero, because you can get punished so hard for it. And the big story is going to be this bottom lane. 3 heroes from each team. We talked about Wisp not really being that great of a laner. If he gets level 2 and he gets his spirits, then he can start doing some damage. My one concern for Liquid is that their frontline hero, TC, he has Sprint, which is a great utility to initiate, but it also makes you take a lot more damage. Like 15% doesn't seem huge, but when you only have 500 health on a strength hero, I mean, you compare it to Way Too. Slardar only has 50 more health. That's really not a lot.
No. And he will take damage with that as well, because if you look at the other heroes, the Wisp, even at level 1 spirits, it does a lot of damage.
And it's a pain.
Yeah, 25 apiece, I think.
Yeah, but it's 5 of them. So it's 125, which is nothing to ignore at level 1. And then once he gets to level 4 on that skill, it's 500 damage.
Yeah.
How many skills do 500 damage?
At
potentially
that kind of
in AoE.
as well, yeah. Also, I was exclaiming because they have gone for the aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah.
Me and Fear joined.
Oh, EG. Jo gets the Wisp haste.
This is a fast ball.
But that ball will not do much. It's just all about these chain pulls that they're trying to achieve here. Trying to get some level in the support, denying the level to the support in the offensive trial. And when you go into offensive, you run into this risk of not being able to get some farm just because the creep boys get denied by pulling. But again, this trial lane, you can't really go and pull that much, because if you leave the lifesteal alone, Gale, you can't remove the rage. And that might mean a kill.
It's the supports 2v2. Let's say Vengeful Spirit and a Venno versus a CM and a Wisp. The Venno and the VS win that every time. Like, there's not a circumstance where I think that these two supports are going to be able to fight a Vengeful Spirit and a Venno, because Gale is just way too strong, and you're probably going to be on retreat straight away.
They're jungling, by the way.
Oh, I mean, they have to, because they can't really lane that effectively. And since there's no real vision on the side of Liquid, they can get away with it because they don't know when the initiation is going to be coming. So they can't zone out Fear from the creep wave entirely. He doesn't have a lot of CS, but he's still getting some experience, which is going to be to his benefit. But the real story is TC is dominating right now. He's at 17 and 5. Fear, he's got 3 creeps.
Well, to be fair, he's solo lane against a tri-lane that can kill him.
Yeah.
At the first sign of an overextension. So that's doing okay, as expected, I'd say, for Liquid. And the thing is, question for you. If Slardar gets 10 minutes of free farm and doesn't die, or maybe gets a kill, what does he go for in an ideal situation?
I think if you're against this matchup, you want a BKB really bad.
Oh, mid lane?
Yeah, middle. Could potentially see the first blood. MSS, he's going to get dove. He goes for Bulba. Bulba might be... Yep, he is going to drop. I was going to say Mike going to be dropping, but he does. In the meantime, bottom, they actually get a kill. Fogged. He gets fluffed. They want TC as well. He does have enough for another crush if he wants to use it. He does have his boots, so he will be fine. But as soon as they see the support leave, they just crush the off lane. That's one of the biggest weaknesses of having an aggressive tri-lane, is that if you ever decide to go for a kill in another spot, you have to communicate, hey, I'm not here anymore. If they see the mid getting ganked, they are going to try to kill you. And that's just Liquid just not communicating properly.
Well, I mean, you have to know, right? No, the hero is not there.
Well, they didn't know, because what other reason would you have for getting caught? TC almost died too.
Maybe they were overconfident because you didn't see the supports for quite a while. The
Well,
supports were jungling. Maybe
If you can't see the supports, you don't get overconfident. That's the whole point. You can't see them.
Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. Man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Period. You should have told me.
You've got less wins than I have, dude. I'm not taking Dota advice from you anymore.
I'm not playing Dota.
Yeah, exactly.
These days. That's a problem. Way too busy.
Oh,
I
way
don't know,
too.
I played-
Coming in from the high ground again. Bulba.
Oh,
He's got double
he's
damage
done.
this time. Magic Missile's going to be there. Fog's here. And Jay are both
Everyone's
here. They
there.
want to turn it around.
Oh,
Bulba's
he's
like,
bad.
I want out of here. Clockwork Rocket to help out as well. Way too. He ends up going down. Universe even came just in case it wasn't enough on its own. He's like, guys, I'm here.
Oh, the ultimate. Everyone's really low,
Wowee.
but no one really dies. And when J pops the bottle and the salve.
Look
Oh
at
my
that.
goodness.
Back up to fighting shape
Next
in no
level.
time.
It wasn't even his.
No.
MSS just gave it to him to make sure that both of them could get
That's
back up to full
nice.
HP.
That's friendship.
That's just efficiency, man. That's mutualism.
However,
Oh,
even,
Bulba, he's going to get caught out. MSS is 6. Jo doing a little bit of damage with the spirits, but they don't all make contact.
Oh,
Magic
Fog.
Missile out onto Fog. Bulba throws at the Flame Break. Fog pops the wand, and Bulba ends up going down. I think they're going to lose way too as well. MSS, he gets an overload auto,
Holy
and the kill
mackerel.
gets secured by Jo.
this Fog guy.
Wow.
And Fluff?
What was he doing there?
Fluff.
What? Hello?
Why?
Is this thing on? Am I like?
I think the Mickey Mouse impression must have blown their brains.
It really must have, because I have no idea why the world why would you be there?
Okay, think of it this way. Space creators for nature's profit, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, they're giving him a lot of space, so I hope he has like a full inventory right now.
Oh, wait, no, he hasn't. Damn.
No, he just has face boots.
He's not far off the money hand.
To be fair, he is beating Universe pretty damn badly. Universe sitting at 15 and 4. He's at 39 and 11. I think it's safe to say that the Prophet won his lane.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like, well, since you won the lane, let's put the Slardar there. Which at the same time means that the Lifestealer will have free farm, because there's no one really contesting him there right now. He's just biting and hitting creeps happily.
Well, the problem is 1 versus 1. If you're not 6, the Slardar can't fight against the Lifestealer. You need Amp to make sure that you can trade effectively, because otherwise Feast is going to counteract anything that you can do to him. Even though Slardar allegedly has a base armor lead and he had treads, he still felt unsafe to farm the lane, just because of, again, the lack of vision. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why the tri-lane of Liquid failed, because they couldn't see what was going on. They didn't know when to contest the pull. They never knew when to control the lane, because they lost all their vision straight up. So if you're Liquid right now, you're on the back foot, you're down 5 kills, you're not out of it just yet, but it's going to be really heavily weighted on, like you said, Quakefa, and not only that, but Bulba too. And Bulba already has 2 deaths.
Bulba really needs a Blink Dagger right now. He's resorting to the jungle to get some farm, because with the Storm past level 6, he doesn't really feel safe.
Yeah.
Of course, the Storm probably cannot kill him 1v1, but, oh, there's a jump. Universe?
Oh, top lane.
TC
TC?
in all kinds of
He
trouble.
gets caught out. I heard a hook shot, and then I just didn't see Universe on the map anywhere because he was covered by the ball. Like, it was just purple and teal, and I'm like, wait, I know I heard something. But TC manages to
Survive and run
slither
away.
his way out.
He's still not
MSS
level
is going
6.
to spot out
Oh.
Quakefa. He's got a haster, and this is a free kill for him. Level 3 overload, that damage. Quakefa not
Wowee.
making it out of this one.
7-1.
MSS is just like, thank you very much. In the meantime, I'm going to walk to your tier 1 safe lane and try to pressure that.
EG. Alex Garfield must be happy today. man.
It's true.
Things are working out perfectly for them. That
Which is
first
good,
game was lying.
because he usually doesn't look happy.
No,
Like, every
he's-
time I see him, he just looks surly.
he does that. But I think that's his face.
It could be. That's kind of my face,
Oh,
too, though, to
surly
be fair.
face.
Everyone
I wouldn't
says,
say he looks surly.
why am I so angry all the time? That's just how I look, man.
Pale. That's how Mrs. F described you. Pale, remember?
That's true. She was worried about my vitamin D levels.
Yeah, she
I
said-
could have a deficiency.
She said, tell Andy he needs to get out in the sun. He looks pale and wham.
Andy, get out in the sun of Sweden.
Little does she know.
Come on, Andy, get
sun.
down in the sun.
I
Just
saw the sun
doesn't
today.
exist.
I saw the sun. I dropped to my knees and said a
it's the
said a
moon,
prayer.
silly
No, it was
Parian.
the sun, dude. It shone right in my eyes. I was dazzled. Quickly closed the curtains
This
and
guy has been
hid.
drinking.
He has been drinking.
I
a
saw
little
the
bit.
sun, I swear.
It's really starting to become a problem.
I was tempted to wake you all up.
Hey man, I had to wake up everyone today. I wake up at 4 p.m. and I notice that you and I are the only ones awake in the house.
Yep.
And I just go into, maybe we should be awake to actually
Yeah.
do the ASUS.
Milton's going to
ROG
shout at
DreamLeague
us
today.
again.
Nah,
No.
Milton's like the nicest, man. He never yells at me.
He shouted at me really hard.
Wow.
Wow.
What did you do to the guy?
Nothing.
You didn't call him Beardy, right?
I
He
didn't
doesn't
call him
like.
Beardy.
Well, you
No.
did say earlier that you don't like Dire Straits, which is enough of a reason for anyone to shout at you.
Oh,
Well,
I bet
but
the
he doesn't
chat's
like
with me.
anything.
I
He
bet the
doesn't
chat's
like
with me.
Aladdin. He doesn't like
Like
Dire
Dire
Straits. Next thing you're gonna tell me you don't like chocolate either.
I like chocolate.
All right, well.
But I am more of a savoury kind of snacks man.
Okay.
See, there
you know
we go,
what?
there
You,
we
you
go.
had to throw that in, didn't you?
Just being accurate. Gotta give you the full picture.
Unbelievable. We can't take you anywhere.
No.
Just, well, you can, as long as they're not playing Dire Straits and Aladdin isn't showing.
All right, you know what? I'm just out. I'm just gonna spike my headset on the ground and just be done.
Jeez.
I can't work with this guy anymore.
Oh, they're gonna find Fluff.
Oh,
Fluff.
Oh, rest in peace.
Fluff.
That's a bummer.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet you. He even misses the Gale, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
and
he
the
misses
DD.
the Gale.
Yeah.
And the DD.
This is not Liquid's game.
That was the panic, Gale. That was the oh god, please.
Please, no. And Boba is like, don't worry, guys. Can I get my Blink Dagger? Just 300 more gold.
Well,
That's
Bulba
all
actually
we-
invented the Blink Dagger. You know that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Huh?
Yeah, he invented Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, really.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He also invented the Boots of Travel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, those are two awesome items.
Well, he's an awesome guy.
Of course.
He is.
Have you met him in person? You have, right?
I have,
Yeah, you met
yes.
him at TI3.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the guy that whispers at you?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
dude.
hey, Beard.
He always
Hey,
comes up and he's like,
He likes to stand behind you when he talks.
it almost seems like he's just going to offer you drugs. Like, he comes up behind you, he's like,
Hey, dude.
hey, Andy, what's up, man? Did you hear about whatever? And he's a huge gossip, too. I love Sam to death, but the guy, he's like, you tell him something in confidence, and then never again. Like, ever. We love you, Sam.
Hey, dude.
You're the man.
Why does Iceberg then give me the patch notes to me, dude? He gave it to Puppy. Why not to me, dude? What did I do?
Well, Sam, there's a filter from your mind to your mouth that kind of needs to be in place for you to get patch notes early.
So funny. Anyways,
Anyway,
Anyway.
top 3 farmers are from the side of Liquid. Is that good? Or is that not enough?
well, we're talking specifically about creep kills, which
Yes.
sounds pretty good. And the lead for EG isn't massive by any stretch. My
It's
biggest
just one tower,
concern-
which is what the league is about.
Yeah, my biggest concern for Liquid is that they still had a tri-lane with a purpose. And if the
Dire's
purpose of the
middle
tri-lane
tower is
hasn't
under
really been
attack.
met, because TC and Lifestealer are devastatingly close in CS right now, which is not what should have been the case, then your game plan still isn't what you wanted it to be. Because the mid game for Liquid is not as strong as EG's mid game. There's no doubt about that. So they compensate by picking a stronger tri-lane and say, okay, we're going to keep the Lifestealer down.
Oh,
They might go
MSS?
for MSS, blink in.
the dodge!
Nice.
And now, the
Brilliant
hook.
reaction. Hook
you see what
initiation
explode?
onto TC. He's stuck inside of the cogs. No way he gets out of that one. MSS wants more. He balls forward. Jo picks up a kill himself. He's on a killing spree. Bulba off to the side going, there's nothing more I can do for you guys.
That was insane.
Yeah, that
Those
was a really good
reactions.
reaction.
Wow.
That lasso nerf actually stopped MSS
Yes.
from dying there.
Yes, he blinked close, but not close enough. He had to walk a little bit, and the little zip was enough for Storm
I mean,
Spirit
look
to
at
run
that.
away.
Look at the radius on that lasso.
It's
nothing.
not a radius.
But
It's
it
just
was
like
so
a.
powerful. It can't be. You know what I mean? That's fine. Just deal with it.
Just deal with
Just
it.
deal with it.
You got to
Wow.
put on your sunglasses when you say that.
Lowers shades.
Yeah, thank you. I like how you actually said what you're supposed to be emoting. It's pretty good.
How can I emote when it's just my voice?
No, people would imagine it.
Yeah. Oh, the jump on TC is gonna die again.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Saddest
not looking
TC in the world.
good. Yep, this is not looking good for Liquid.
See, this is
EG have carrying on their
all
form for
bottom
the
as
first
well.
game.
They might find way to no tender
Oi,
stun,
oi,
but
oi,
not even
oi, oi.
necessary.
12-1. This is a disaster. And you know, I've been watching BlizzCon this weekend.
Yeah.
I watched a bit.
Yeah, it was StarCraft 2, and I like. Oh, well, there's a fight.
Yeah, lasso onto MSS. Fog's gonna be there as well. Quite for throwing out some autos. They might not even have the damage to kill him. He has a wand.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gonna pop it. Oh, strength tread's not enough. Unfortunate. He even self. Poor guy.
But when I was going here, I was watching BlizzCon. I was watching the StarCraft 2 commentators, and I love the drama they put in everything. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to commentate with the drama
Oh, I can't wait.
of a StarCraft
Let's
2
hear it.
commentator. So you just please go on, and I'll chip in, because that's what you do when you're a StarCraft 2 commentator. It's not a conversation; you just chip in.
Okay.
All right, so right now, EG looking pretty damn solid. Don't think there's any other way to say it than that. They have a 10-kill lead. They just lost MSS, and he doesn't have his Orchid yet, but he's pretty darn close. He'll have a second Oblivion staff, and then, of course, all he needs is the recipe after the fact. But EG, I feel like they still want to try to apply some pressure here. The problem with Liquid's lineup is that the Slardar can't really just go for a item hook shot in onto Fluff. Universe stuck under the tower though. He's still hitting tower shots. He's gonna negate the ulti, so he's like, team, I've done my job. Jo, in the meantime, he might be getting caught out. Fear, he actually dies as well to Quakfa. MSS is around and Fogged, and the rest of EG are gonna be forced to retreat out. So interesting hook shot there by Universe, and now Roshan looks to be taken by Liquid.
And this can be a disaster for EG right now. If Liquid get this Roshan, they can turn this whole game around right now. EG has to contest this, or at least have a backup plan. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen, man.
Oh dear. Bruno was talking about this like all weekend about the casters and how every single teeny tiny thing, like if they place a barracks wrong, I don't know if he can come back from this, man. He's placed this barracks a little bit too far to the left and there's room on the inside.
But it's always negative. It's never pointing out the right thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what could happen to the losing
It's just like
team?
the mass media. You never see about the good stories. The front page is always like baby nailed to 21 trees.
You know,
it's
if
never.
it bleeds, it leads. That's the story. That's the.
I mean,
that's how they do it.
That's how success is bred, right? You just you emphasize everything, and you only talk about stuff that's an absolute just atrocity.
Disaster.
Yes.
It's a disaster.
Can't happen. Oh, we see a TP down bottom right now, but there's no tower to push. This could be a great mistake for Jo. If he was closer to some other tower, the goal that they would have gotten would have been amazing, but he decides to go there. I'm not sure about this, man.
Oh, it's good.
God damn it, Bruno.
That is
Stop
a golden
whacking off in the
baby
tool
Roshan,
shed.
by the way, that Liquid have. That's a nice courier, man.
Well,
Oh,
you know we've reached a little bit of a dull point in the game where we just start emphasizing a Wisp TPing to a hero that he should always be next to. I mean, the funny part about that wasn't even that you were trying to overemphasize the drama, it was that he should have been there.
I like, you know what else it reminds me of StarCraft is the Venomancer placing his wards is kind of like when you do the cannon rush as Protoss or something. It kind of looks like that, the way you build them up one by one and then draw people into it. That's kind of funny. I used to die to cheese every single game in StarCraft. I just had no idea what to do.
Well, that's what happens when you're in the tinfoil league, man.
Whoa. I'll have you know the Bronze League has some sterling
hook shot in
players.
again. Universe, he's going to find Quakefoot, 4-staff out. Wisp relocate coming in. MSS, he does not want to let him get away from this. Bulba, immediate lasso, but it's onto MSS in fear. He gets the open wounds on Bulba, and all of a sudden, Bulba feed. 2 down on Liquid. Gale comes out onto MSS with the stun as well from the Vengeful Spirit, but it's not enough to kill him just yet. TC, he gets Frostbitten Fear. He also wants to get the heck out. In the meantime, MSS is still running away for his life. And Fear, he's going to be dropping. Looks like they might get both. MSS, he balls to the high ground.
Mana.
He's so slow, though,
has
because
to
of the Poison Sting. The ward.
The ward.
Oh,
come on.
He's still running.
Run!
Run!
No, he went the other way
He
around.
might have enough.
He's gone
He
to
might
deny
have enough.
himself.
No, he
He's
wants
denies
to.
of the Ancients.
Oh!
I thought he had enough mana to ball over the edge. If he walks to the area with no tree, he could have actually gone to the low ground there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Liquid can... No, it's not. That's going to go. I can
That's why you muted the stream after a while. Yeah.
Jesus.
Listened to classical music and told me to shut up.
Please. Or Dire Straits.
I was very loud.
Wait, do you not like classical music, or do you like?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Wow.
Well, I actually don't have a preference on that.
Oh, I mean, but
Eh.
do you like anything?
God, I love loads of stuff.
God, Pyrian hates fun,
Yeah,
doesn't
he's a hater, not a lover.
All right, I guarantee you that if somebody in chat does a straw poll about whether Dire Straits are good or not, Dire Straits will end up in the dustbin.
he?
I
Okay.
have no idea, man.
You are actually clueless.
Also, I can't
no
believe that
idea.
the Twitch chat are big Dire Straits fans. Dire Straits sucks, and I'll say it right now.
What?
You know, there's going to be like Reddit posts about everything that you hate. And it's just going to be a list. Yeah, even the observers, like, what are you on right now?
Oh dear. Excuse me for having taste.
It must be like
Unbelievable.
opposite day or something like that.
Yeah.
Pyrian's just being like, he's in his rebellious phase. Most people hit it at 16, not
I never
Pyrian.
stopped. I never stopped.
Maybe, I guess you would just call it a
by the
midlife
way,
crisis
Draskell,
now.
if not liking Dire Straits makes me a rebel, that is the saddest rebellion in the universe.
It could be. I'm just saying. I don't know, man.
What did you listen to when you were a kid, like in the 60s?
Just a static sound. I was allowed to listen to static. A detuned radio.
Fair enough. That's why you got your taste.
That's right.
You know, I'm actually so disgusted with you that I want to just find something that you really like and shit on it just to make you feel the way that I feel right now.
Right,
Please
well,
stop, Bruno.
I really like Dota 2. Go
Well, I
ahead.
can't- You know,
that's the cop-out.
You know I
After you.
can't do that. I'm just saying, eventually, as our friendship
I like boobs.
continues to...
Big fan of boobs.
Who
Keep going, sir.
doesn't?
I'm just saying, I like
You're
all
just
the good
throwing
things in
things out that I can't possibly dispute.
I like living.
life. Yeah.
Jesus.
Also food. And sleeping.
You know what, both of you guys, just get out. Just
Well,
leave.
What did I do?
What do you mean, what did you
I'm just
You're enabling him.
missing a point.
Oh, hook shot in. On to way two.
No,
He's
way
stuck
two.
under the tower.
Can't stop.
MSS is here, throwing out his autos. It's going to be a very, very dead, vengeful spirit. He wants more, though. MSS, he goes in on Fluff. Fog, in the meantime, gets a freezing field off. TC's Aegis is popped. He'll be back in the fight in just a second. Do they want to continue to engage onto this? Looks like Bulba.
Nice.
He
Oh,
finds
tree
MSS.
stun.
A three-man crush.
Wow.
And all of a
Jeez.
sudden, Liquid, they're looking pretty strong. I mean,
Come back.
granted, that was an Aegis fight. Yep. If the Aegis wasn't there was no way Liquid could have continued to pursue that. But still, I mean, a
That's
fight
why
win
you
is a
get it.
fight
3
win.
heroes and a tower.
Yeah, that's why you get it.
3 heroes and a tower. It's almost as good as 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, and Jo, he's trying to escape here from Koikfa. I don't think it's going to work out for him.
Oh,
He's
keep
a
running,
sad
buddy.
little ball.
I think they
Ball.
got it. Boom.
Balls. Oh, 665.
Wow.
That was a really freaking
That was a
farm to win.
Money
Yeah.
ball. That was the money ball.
Fluff is 06, by the way, but he seems to be doing more than that would indicate, I think. Giving people the venom.
Well, that's really all you need to
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's just so that they don't get big streaks. Look at that Wisp. That Wisp thought he was the big thing. He
Yeah,
was getting kills.
He did.
But now he died.
He was 504.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Fluff is just preventing people from falling for that.
Also, look at this little line of snakes.
Snakes.
Who could hate that?
In the
do. They're
plane.
graboids.
Yeah.
What are they?
Graboids.
What's a graboid?
It's a graboid.
Okay.
That's literally a graboid.
Yes.
Okay.
Like if you're asking
Comes
what
in
it is, you
plague
have it in front of you.
But okay.
It's a graboid.
Why are they called plague wards then?
Because they can't use graboid. It's copyrighted.
Oh, I see. You see, you didn't make that clear, Andy.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was obvious.
No, because I never played Dota 1. I've never played
That's
Warcraft 3.
Okay.
Never mind.
Just keep trying.
It's fine. It's fine. So right now, still a 7-kill lead for EG. The important thing to note, though, is that after that really big team fight, Liquid, they're looking pretty good.
Wow.
They've put the gold back to basically 0.
Yes.
So we've gone back 22 minutes in the past. And experience-wise, they're heading up.
Wow.
And it's all in the shoulders of that Nature's Prophet, really, if you think about it. Because
Yeah.
it's Lardar. That's what I kind of not don't like, but it's just weird from these strength carries that they stop farming at one point into the game. A Weaver, you want to farm even if it's 50 minutes into the game and you're 6 slotted because it's fun. Same with an anti-mage, Faceless Void. Slardar, there's a point where you say, okay, I stop farming right now and I have to just start fighting. And it feels like you wane off, but when you have a Nature's Prophet, which is a hero that can farm so much, it's not that you're putting that money to waste. It's just the Slardar will be there in the front line, getting the stuns, doing the right things. And if the game gets to very, very late game, just getting an amplified damage might be all you need to win a team fight.
Yeah.
Koikfa has an Orchid now.
Koikfa
pretty
is
big.
massive right
Yeah.
now. Like, we talked about the difference between the safe lane 1v1. Just compare the farm. Just look at the CS. 39 creep kills on the Clockwork to 169 on Koikfa. Now,
Mad.
a lot of that is due to the fact that the roles that they're playing are different. So that's understandable.
Oh,
Hook
way
shot,
two
mid,
again.
On way two. Relocate's going to be there as well. Might be a little bit too much. Ooh, they spot Koikfa though. MSS, he wants to go in. Koikfa 4 staffs away. Even
Nice
pops the
Orchid.
Orchid. Going to keep himself safe for the time being. If they could have got Koikfa there, that would have been huge. MSS, though, a tiny bit slow on the reaction, and he didn't ball far enough forward, so...
Liquid are just sort of lurking in the jungle here. I'm not quite sure what they're up to. They were down here bottom for quite some time.
Well, if they can apply pressure to the tier 2 before EG take an engagement, then that's to their benefit, because they know that EG are likely going to be pushing the safe lane of their side. So whenever you can get something out of a situation that otherwise would have been a net loss, you want to do.
But at this point, I don't think Fluff can push as fast as EG can.
I mean, his poor graboids aren't even in tower range.
No.
He's just sitting here and he's
It's
like...
just delaying. I mean, you know, it's just like keeping the
keeps the lane
equilibrium.
fresh.
Yeah, keep the equilibrium next to the tower. So
Look
if
at them.
Koikva decides to push later, it'll be fine. But now Koikva, he's playing carefully. He has to be careful. He has that Midas on off cooldown. He needs to use that Midas.
Or relocate.
Still hasn't used it.
Damn. Use it, Midas.
Time's ticking away.
Koiva.
Oh, that's another one. I'll bring it up, actually, when I don't have something else relevant to talk about. At this stage, we will have to talk about something that becomes very important the later it goes into the game.
Dum, dum, dum.
The lack of wards that you see during that transition into the late game is very, very tough to deal with against teams with a Wisp and a Storm. Because all of a sudden, your map control starts to dwindle. They still don't have any of their tier 1 standing if you're on the side of Liquid. And the initiation potential of EG is insane. Not only that, but just not being on the map is enough to pressure a team.
Yeah. Fluff has been there for quite a while right now. He's been baiting at this point because everyone's here. The rotation
Hook shot. Didn't hit. Unfortunate.
Wow.
Universal's a 4-staff. They're going to spot out Bulba. Bulba blinks away. Oh, no, actually, they didn't see him.
No, they didn't.
He was right behind the tree line. So.
They could bait them here at Roche, couldn't they?
Well, EG can't see Roche being done. They see the fire.
But he sent the clockwork rocket.
Yeah.
Flare.
Now they see it.
Now they see it. Yeah.
They see just trees. That's what they see.
Well, did they flare?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, well, then they knew. But I don't think Liquid can really take this comfortably. They need Koikva's ulti for sure, because that ult is a huge reason why they even have enough damage in the first place to take team fights. And Venomancer ulti is going to be important too, so... The longer the game stretches on, Liquid don't have terrible initiation either. They have 2 Blink heroes, Blink Slardar, Blink Bat, and if they can catch out somebody like Storm or Lifestealer and kill them just straight away, which they've done to MSS a few times this game, then they're looking pretty strong. On the other hand, Storm is getting very close to his BKB. And once he gets that, he can initiate on his own terms. If he gets lassoed during a BKB, it's not as big of a deal. Hook shot in. Right, they find Bulba. That is possibly the best target they could have gotten. The swaps there immediately from way 2. He even stuns out Universe. Bulba is still alive for the time being, but will end up going down. Already 2 dead on the side of Team Liquid. MSS, he's going to teleport out. No, he cancels the TP. Wow, really ballsy move, and he ends up going down for it. Buys back straight away.
Nice.
He goes for the stomp, gets it on fear. Koikva, he throws at the Sprout. He's throwing out autos to do some damage. Fluff is here, lands another Gale. Fogs, no mana, but they can't continue to chase. Yeah, the Storm bought out, but he wasted his TP. So now Koikva's just like, yep, I'm out. No bash for fear.
Yeah.
What the heck was MSS doing there?
I don't know.
That actually was a disaster.
That was pretty
because
bad.
He could have either just A, walked away and been fine, B, let his TP go, or C, take your hands off your keyboard and do nothing, and it still would have been better than that.
At the same time, they killed 3 of Liquid heroes. They only lost 2, and there was a buyback.
He lost 1,200 gold for that. That is still not worth it for EG, because he absolutely needs the BKB for the reason that we just saw. If he gets orchided, he can't do anything. So EG go from potentially dominating a team fight really hard to what?
Well, they won the team fight, and that's it.
What?
They won the team fight.
EG.
EG.
They didn't win the fight. It was even.
With 3 kills to 2.
Yeah, it was even, because Storm bought back, and he can't even farm.
Well, he was one of the 2. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I know, but it's still more costly to buy back. And now...
This is a loss.
Yeah, Liquid get Roshan.
This is a loss.
And look at how fast that dies, man.
Amplify. And Banjora.
Yeah.
Which is level 2
And
right
the
now.
trees,
and the Dalian,
snakes.
and the Screams.
That's minus armor Fiesta here.
Yeah.
Fiesta. I like that.
Which
Salsa.
is something that we didn't actually talk a whole lot about, but I guess we have a moment, so we can bring it up. The mass minus armor against teams with Lifestealer is really good.
Yep.
Because a Lifestealer can't man fight. Even if he gets something like an AC, there is so much minus armor on the side of Liquid that his AC will be completely negated.
Yeah.
It'll be like he's not wearing a shirt at all.
Is anyone going Deso in Liquid?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone has the money. If anyone, it's going to be Koikva.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a
probably
Mithril hammer. If he goes for Deso.
I think BKB would actually be better here.
Yeah.
He already hits pretty hard, right?
Yeah, he doesn't really...
loads of minus armor as it is.
He doesn't need the damage. The choice of Deso is going to be if he wants to play more split push. But against a Storm, that's really dangerous. Not only a Storm, but a Clockwork too.
And a Wisp.
And a Wisp,
oh,
exactly.
No.
So it's like...
I can't split push,
Split pushing is really tough, and yeah, it's going to be BKB.
BKB.
Man, I gotta say, my item calls, literally spot on today.
Jesus.
Well done, Andy.
Every single one.
It's like if you were a commentator for this game.
It's almost
also
like...
plays a lot.
You're so pleased with yourself.
I like... Well, a lot of times I'll say something and I'll say, okay, they can do this, but they could also do this.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. You committed to a decision.
But yeah, I just said, nope, this is what he's buying, this is what he's buying, this is what he's buying. All Fear's item progression, I called 100%.
Yeah.
Pretty good, Andy.
You're a genius, Andy.
Jesus.
You're amazing.
You guys make me feel like the prettiest girl in the world.
You might as well be.
Hey, man. I don't really get that much limelight as a play-by-play commentator because everybody likes the color better, typically. I mean, that's usually what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to take my moment.
Mm-hmm.
Shine, Andy.
I am already shining. The makeup lady knows that for sure. She comes into the studio after every single game and she's like, oh, man, can't believe you guys are shiny again.
Yeah, we're so shiny.
So shiny.
Actually, she doesn't do that, but
No, she's always chipper.
yes. She's very happy to make sure that we don't shine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She saves you guys having to deal with the glare.
Especially you two guys.
Well, Andy, there was another thing you said. I want to talk about something when there's not something happening. It was about 5 minutes ago. You said, I want to talk about something in a minute when something's not happening, and then you didn't.
Let's talk about something. Just
Oh, but now I forgot about that thing that I was going to talk about when nothing was happening because nothing's happening.
Right.
And then I got sidetracked by other things that I was
Shininess,
talking about
yeah.
while things aren't happening.
Yeah.
So I actually lost my train of thought to segue into things when nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
something did happen. They killed a tower, so Liquid gets something out of nothing in the situation.
they got their second tower of the game. And to be fair, EG didn't get many themselves. It's just 3 towers down for Liquid, 2 for EG. This is 30 minutes, so it's pretty much well into the mid game. The late game will start in a little while. But this looks more like early mid to me. This looks like a 15 to 20 minute situation in terms of the map than it is 30 minutes. And that's with both a Wisp that can rotate and can just get a lot of map control, and the Nature's Prophet that normally would be able to split push, but because of reasons we talked today, he can't.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Like, the tower progression is what makes it look like such an early game. I mean, there's a tier 1 mid alive. How often do you see that at 31 minutes against a team with a Prophet?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Especially since the team is not really losing. Again, we're in 0 gold. What's it?
Wow. He's going to get spotted. BKB or not, you are not living through that one. Even if he did BKB,
That
Fear
would
has
have
an
been
abyssal.
possible.
So,
They stuck the stance to be fair.
Quake off the map. He has buyout. And I think ideally you push the tier 2 to make him buy out. Because you don't want him to have buyout for an actual team fight. That's one of the best things that you can do against a Prophet is kill him, then push. If he forces the buyout and then you win the fight, then he's like screwed.
Yeah.
Like, he can't do anything. You can't even split push again because of the reasons that, you know, we all mentioned before. So
BKB on the back
EG
rider.
going for the tier 2. I think that Liquid sacrificed this. I
They
don't
should.
know if they can force Quake to buy out here. I don't think he buys back for a tier 2.
They shouldn't.
Oh, maybe he will, because TC is going straight in. He gets a blink onto MSS, pops the BKB, cogs are there, but it really doesn't do a whole lot of anything.
just
And now
working
TC,
around.
his BKB duration is
Oh,
going
they
to
got
get
Fear.
quite
This is
low.
really good.
Fear, lassoed in, Boba pops
Nice
BKB
done.
as well. A triple crush and a flame break to follow it up. Fear, he goes down. Oh man, this is not good at all for EG. They lose 4, make it 5. Total team wipe as Quakevik catches Universe in the river. And we were talking about maybe not wanting to buy back for a tier 2, but Liquid say, you know what?
Worth the buyback?
We're taking the fight.
And now there goes that tier 1 mid.
Worth the buyback?
It was worth a buyback.
Definitely.
Yes. We're talking about how in this new patch, if you buy back just for farming, the thing that Andy loves to do.
I do love it, man.
Kinda sucks right now.
Ice Frog, please. Just give me that. You take away all my joy, and now you take away my buyback rage farming.
But right now, I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this.
Yeah, you buy back, you get 2 kills and 2 towers. Holy moly, who isn't happy with
Yeah.
Even I would enjoy that.
You know what else we could do while we're at it?
Well,
Just make Amplify affect towers.
yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would totally be balanced.
That would
And
be
then the
something.
towers would be paper towers.
It's like when
3
Magnus
towers.
had Shockwave that affected buildings.
Yes.
It did 300 damage to a tower every time you cast it. So
Oh.
it's a Warcraft 3 Shockwave hit towers.
Who was the hero that had the first year Earthquake, the ultimate? I think it was Leshrac that had Earthquake that
Was
affected
it?
buildings.
Maybe it was.
So you
I
can
don't
have
remember.
amplified damage on the towers and have Lone Druid Bear wreck the towers in like 2
Yeah,
hits. That would be
Amplify or a Tiny.
Yeah,
But I
Well,
don't think you would ever have a Slider and a Tiny on the same team. It seems a
you
bit
would
weird.
if you
So-
could do that.
you lose a team fight. You lose 3 towers and 5 heroes. What happens to the gold graph?
I'm going to say, Bruno, that it takes a big
looks
swing
like
to
a-
the south.
The gold graph just looks like a tightrope
Look at
walk.
that!
It's like
They're
I'm
jumping
fine,
off that
I'm
cliff.
fine.
That's what's happening
It's the
right
north
now.
face of the Eiger right there.
Well, it's kind of hard to have any leeway when you don't kill anyone. You just all die. So
Yep, good call.
Oh, there's a jump to nothing.
258 last hits on
Okay,
Quake.
question for the people in chat right now. We're not reading chat, but I mean, just
can read
debate
it. I can
in
read
2
it.
minutes.
Yeah.
No,
In
it's
2
in 2
minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
Does this really count as a throw?
I would say that fight was kind of a throw. Although, truthfully, Liquid played it really well, because what they did was, they initiated on the one hero who can initiate on the Bat, the Storm. They said, I want this Storm to get the hell away from my Batrider, so my Batrider can find his initiation, right? And that's what they did. They got Fear, they pulled him into the tower. MSS can't stay there and tank the damage, and since he doesn't have a BKB yet, they knew that they could get away with forcing him into that position. He just picks it up now. So, EG are now in a position where they've lost a huge team fight, and Liquid are looking really strong. And this Prophet is just, he is making money. It's like that meme of a guy who says, Prophet, what are you making? And he just answers with money. Like that's what he's doing.
Well, the chat is obviously a few minutes delayed, but it's just EG throw, EG throw. Thousands and thousands of times.
I mean, fairly enough, they were 1-11, or 11-1, the way you want to watch at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
It was a complete EG domination.
Yeah. They were like, what is it? They were like 9-0, I think, or something like that.
11-1.
Yeah, 11-1.
11-1. So maybe it was like 7-0 before they got the first kill or something like that.
That's scary.
That's scary. But right now, I look at Liquid's team, and I look at their farm, and I look at that scary Nature's Prophet, and even the Slurp that might not do much, but now he has a Hyperstone, so finally he attacks fast, so to the point where the bash can become really annoying.
The Bash Lord.
And level 16, that amplify damage minus 1,000,000 armor.
20.
It's 1,000,000, Andy, read again.
I mean, the Lifestealer has 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ability just, it turns him into paper.
Yeah. I mean, if you built the AC, it would just be to get back to like base armor, right?
Yeah. That's just kind of what you have to do. And I think the important thing for EG now is to take the initiation as soon as you see it. Don't hesitate. Because if TC gets to go first, and that happens again, where MSS is forced into a situation where he can't actually go on who he wants to go on and save Fear, then you lose the fight every time. Like, there's no way to recover from Fear dying at the beginning of the fight, because he is the only other core on the side of EG. But MSS now has BKB, so he can take those jumps a little more securely. He doesn't have to worry about just getting blasted down. Sure, he can still get amped and auto-attacked a few times, but you can still start the fight.
Lasso, amp, and I punch you.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen. But it's better to jump and get somebody so you can actually start the fight and Fear can find a target to hit than letting MSS just have to run away when TC initiates, and then your carry just dies.
MKB on Nature's Prophet. Nice.
Hola, hola, get dollar.
The ranged bongo.
So the thing is, if you're Liquid right now, and if you're way too sexy particularly, playing that Vengeful Spirit, what's your goal in a team fight? What do you have to do? You have a swap. And what do you use it on? Do you use it on the target that Storm jumps to? Do you use it on the Lifestealer after he pops out, just so that he has to walk into a team fight again? What do you do?
I don't think you swap the Lifestealer ever. I think you only swap the target that gets open wounds or Abyssaled. Probably Abyssaled, because that's likely going to be TC if he's the one leading off the fight, or Bulba if he gets caught out. Those are the two that you want to save more than anything else. And I don't think offensive swaps really work in this type of a situation, because then you're putting yourself in the entire team. And swapping is really powerful during the late game, because saving a core can be the difference between winning and losing a fight.
And this fight can be huge right now. Everyone from EG Smoke, they go into Roche and they say, maybe we can get Roche. But
were you just going full StarCraft on me there again? That was like a little bit more enthusiasm than I was expecting. Yes. You're like, and this fight could be huge. They're by Roshan.
It went back to me for a little while.
It's okay.
I had to turn it off, but it might be me forever after this.
Wow. That Vengeur is just disgusting when she stands near Quickler.
He hits her over 300, doesn't he? Close to 4.
1 at 4.
MSS, he wants to go on TC. They're going to find him. He just takes so much damage. There's the swap straight away. TC, he still hasn't popped his BKB. The Orchid's going to come out as well. He knows he's dead. Doesn't even worry about it. Immediate TP into the Tier 2 universe. He finds Koikva inside of the Cog's jail. He's going to be dropping, taken down by Koikva himself. Universe, he's trying to escape. He's so low on health. TC, he pops the BKB. Doesn't care about the freezing field at all. And just wails Fog to death with his... is that even a trident?
Yeah.
I'd say it's like a mace thing.
And now they get Roshan. Look, that was what I was talking about. It was terrible for them. And I was mentioning, I think EG lost the game when that Wisp TP'd to the bottom lane. That, as I said before, was what costed them the game.
Very good, Bruno. Very good.
the stats don't lie. The storyline is that Wisp to
The
me.
cheese.
You know, you were complaining to James earlier about a crappy storyline. I think that might be actually a crappier storyline. I just want to say, MSS, he's going to eat an Orchid here.
Yeah, he's gonna
trying
be
to run.
fine.
Yeah, he doesn't have his BKB because it was a 10-second, which of course means 80-second cooldown on the 10 seconds. So Liquid, they've pulled this one out of the hat. But truthfully, even though EG had a 10-kill lead, they never had a substantial gold or experience lead in the game. And yeah, my voice is... I told you, man, the Mickey Mouse takes a lot out of you, okay? Stop giving me shit.
Give him a break. Now that graph looks like a man lying down and laughing.
Oh, MSO. Just a casual ball damage.
Hello, goodbye.
It's fine.
We can't really defend this.
It's fine.
This barracks is going down, Tony!
What can we do? Tony?
Yeah, Tony sounds like
good
a
job.
Hook shot in on a
American guy.
Koifa.
Explosion.
Oh no, the
Jeez.
cheese straight away and the BKB, and now they're like, oh, we've made a horrible mistake. 4 staff out. TC, he's alive again. He finds fear. Way2's going to be dropping on the side of Liquid, but EG, they can't really do anything about this at all. There's just nothing really
Anger
else
management
that
for
they
that
can do.
Slaughter. He just pounds the ground.
Yeah, GG well played comes out from EG.
Wow.
Brilliant performance out of Liquid. I had a little bit of doubts because their laning phase wasn't amazing.
Right.
But they made a huge play during the mid game, let themselves get back into it pretty solidly, especially off the back of Koifa doing so unbelievably well in his safe lane. 329 CS. And another thing, oh, I remembered what I was going to bring up now.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
You
It
can tell
came
it
back
now.
to me right as the score screen came up.
What?
Koifa went 4-staff mech, right? So in a game where you know that the other team only has mid-game heroes, for the most part, I mean, even Lifestealer falls off, and so does Storm, because of the item progression that you typically go. He went items that allowed his team to sustain in the early game fights enough to where they could potentially get kills. So for me, Koifa's performance almost single-handedly was enough to make them just win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what else do you say?
Well, that and the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, Way2 played really well.
Yeah, I think some of the swaps there, comboed with the 4-staff and the mech, were pretty huge in the team fights. You saw actually, by the time in the last fight, I think TC died, just let himself go. He was like, okay, they've got a really good initiation. By the time he died and then got back into the fight and it was all over, 4 members of EG dead, everyone alive from Team Liquid. So congratulations to Team Liquid taking the win over EG. And that means that, well, I do believe now, I'm not sure who's going to be at the bottom of the standings. We'll have to take a look, but it's a toss-up.
VP still.
It's VP or EG?
Wasn't it?
VP is 1
VP
and
is 1
4.
and 3.
Oh, there's the standings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Alliance beat Liquid.
What?
Oh, they're 1 and
EG
5.
beat Alliance, and Liquid
Jesus.
lost to EG, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's complicated right now for Virtus Pro. Even if they win all 4 remaining games, they're going to be at most 5-5.
Yeah, they've only got 4 games left. So just to talk about these while they're up here. Fnatic, I believe Fnatic are playing twice tomorrow. So even though we're halfway through now, not everybody's played an even amount of games. Fnatic have 6 games left. 2 of them are tomorrow. They've currently got 4 and 0, as we've mentioned. Didn't play today. Last game was on Thursday, which of course they won. Alliance looking a lot healthier after their win today, but they also had a loss today.
Yeah.
Did Alliance, yeah. So
Yeah,
win over
EG.
VP and a loss to EG. So they're 4 and 2, looking pretty good. But not much of a difference between them and Na'Vi. Just a game difference in terms of win and loss. Na'Vi now 6 games and a 3-3 split. Didn't have to play today. Team Liquid look a lot healthier, and they can start challenging for a, I would say now they can start challenging for a 3rd or even 2nd place finish.
Yeah.
They lost the games they were kind of supposed to lose versus Navi and Alliance.
Yep.
But after that, they just turned it around. They won the games they wanted to win. Virtus Pro and Evil Geniuses. Team Liquid on the rise.
Yeah, Team Liquid have got to take on Fnatic, though, and actually that's one of tomorrow's games, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Evil Geniuses, a big win today over Alliance, but unfortunately losing to the other American team here, Team Liquid, does hurt them a little bit, but only 4 games played, so not looking too bad. And another team on 6 games is Virtus Pro, always showing some signs of life in terms of decent plays, but they haven't got it working as a team as well as they want to, obviously, and they're going to be right down at the bottom in 6th place. So we can talk about the match a little bit more. I do believe we might even have some highlights coming your way. Okay, apparently we've got some highlights. I was backstage. I didn't write these down, but Wepaz is really on it.
Oh, good.
Oh, he's looking for a promotion.
Good luck.
Here comes a highlight. Okay, so I can't remember what this was actually.
That's first blood, yeah.
3 minutes 44. Yeah.
I mean, he gets first blooded. He manages to get the kill on the Batrider, but if you die first, it's automatically a win. This was the time when EG saw the movement of Way2 and decided that, hey, we're going to go and kill a support in the bottom lane. Not as good as getting first blood, but they did get 2 kills instead of 1. So ultimately, they came out a bit ahead there.
Not only that, they went on to keep killing people and people.
I mean, yeah, their early game was great. But we also talked about the huge discrepancy between the safe laners. For me, that was the biggest thing. It's like, Universe had 40 CS, Quakefa had 170. Sure, your roles are different inside of the game, but Universe didn't have a big enough impact to warrant being that far behind Quakefa. And on the back of just all the money, he was able to kind of carry their team during the mid-game.
Yeah.
I also want to ask you about MSS. Obviously, he came from Fnatic NA prior to joining Evil Geniuses. It's something I've noticed about the newer players. Laning phase, he's a monster. Like MSS in lane, early on, when the game's a little bit, I would say, simpler, the laning phase, it kind of plays out itself, and it's just about how skillful you are. He looks really good. He did it on his Night Stalker, and he did it on his Storm. He was good early on. When it comes into mid-game transitions, these newer players seem to be making decisions that hurt themselves during the mid-game. Is that something you see with MSS? He's got a lot of room for improvement during the mid-game?
I feel like the decision-making is the biggest thing that separates just like a good mid-player from a great mid-player, because you look at somebody like S4.
And when I say mid-player, sorry, I don't mean actually mid-lane, but when you go into the mid-stage of the game.
You're making the transition and becoming the impact player that you want to be. So in that sense, I do think that it makes a pretty big difference, because there, if you're the Storm, you always, always, always have to initiate. You cannot let them initiate on you because of what we saw happen in the bottom lane, which was they initiate in the MSS. Fear gets lassoed, you lose the fight. You can't let that kind of thing happen. So you have to be confident enough in yourself to jump and know that you're making the right call and just go for it. And I think that kind of hurt them.
Yeah, because he's been starting off great for the Team EG in all his laning phases, but in the mid-game. I wasn't sure what Milton was talking about in my ear there. It's very hard to hear him. He's very soft, but apparently it's another clip. So I do believe this might even be the TC getting a triple stun, and TC played amazing. But let's take a look at it and see exactly what we're looking at. No. Doesn't look like it's going to be that one whatsoever.
Oh, yeah,
that's MSS playing very smart. And he is. He's young. He's quick on reactions. And this is a fantastic initiation for him. Great dodge of the lasso. We'll pick up the vengeful, the Venomancer there. And unfortunately for them, the Batrider will get away. And yeah, early on, that's kind of nice. And then the next big team fight that was really painful to watch, if you were a fan of EG, not sure if we've got a clip of that either. Don't know what's happening.
Why do you keep making segues in the clips we don't even know that we have?
Was that the fight?
So see what happened.
On the bottom lane, it was kind of unfortunate just because they did kill TC. He came back with, obviously he had Aegis, came back, used Sprint, and they were like, we're still on go. And then Universe, very unfortunately, with Amplify damage on him, was running at TC, who then got a triple stun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think TC...
That turnaround fight was big. Yeah. Really big. Yeah.
Well, TC's, for me, so far, it's hard to kind of say what he does wrong. Like, it really is.
His decision-making is insane. That's what makes him such a good carry.
Like, any hero he plays, like, we've seen him on Razor, and now Slardar, and he just made Slardar work so well. And that's a very hard hero to make work.
Yeah.
And he didn't go for... I mean, his item choices was pretty much BKB Blink.
Yeah.
So his item choices have been really nice. But let's take a look at hopefully another clip of the match.
I think that's the clip.
And this is the bottom lane fight, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to have Universe start off with the Cogs.
Poor Way2. He got initiated so many times, but that's fine.
Yeah. In comes the relocate.
And TC
they
will die here.
take TC down. So that's the Aegis pop. And you'll see now, as they back away from the Great Freezing Field, TC comes back in. He pops Sprint just now. They get a pull with a Batrider lasso, and there's the triple stun. And of course, there was Amplify damage, I believe, on 2 there. So it's like literally one swipe. But TC, his item choices I wanted to mention, doesn't matter what hero he plays, he doesn't look for what's just normal, usual. Like some people are like, okay, yeah, you got your BKB, you can hit people hard. And he's like, well, if I can't blink, I can't hit people. So he's like, I'll get a blink. And some people would make the mistake of like going something on top of the damage when you're actually in there. But he's really on point with his item choices.
Yeah, agreed. When you have like Amplify and Venge Aura and minus armor from Howl And the medallion, you don't really need a damage item.
You just need to
get there. It was definitely the right call. And the important thing, too, is that Slardar in this lineup typically would feel a bit weak on the front line. And every time they killed Roshan, they gave him the Aegis. He got it, I think, 3 times back-to-back. And they gave Cheese to Koikfa on the last one when they were pushing down mid. But it's important because TC actually died every engagement. Like, every single time, he was one of the first ones to go down.
That's how you play Slardar.
Right. You go in and you man up, and then you amplify somebody. And Koikfa, having a ridiculous amount of farm, does so much damage that you can't sit there anymore, and you just die. So all in all, I think the draft, the play, especially out of TC and Koikfa, was phenomenal.
If you were to go back in time and you were Evil Geniuses, you're 11-1 up, what would you do?
Not throw?
If I was EG in that situation, I think the biggest problem that they had was giving away the Roches, because really they decided a lot of the fights.
Well, Bruno said that. It could be devastating.
It could be devastating, especially when the Wisp TP bottom.
Basically, if they take the Roshan right now, it could absolutely be devastating, and this could be Liquid's way in. What do you think, Kev?
Well, it happened 3 times, so it was their way in 3 times. Because they never got it contested every single time. They would either buy back on a hero, EG would take a team fight and try to push into the tier 2 bottom. They would lose the fight, and then they give away a Roshan, and then they do it again, and then they do it again. It was like a repeat offense that kind of just spiraled out of control for them. Yeah, and we can take a look at the last clip where Koiva and the rest of his team from Team Liquid obviously did spiral out of control. Now, they did get the kill on the Nature's Prophet prior to this, and there was going to be a buyback. So you can see TC, he's got his BKB, goes onto Storm, and they force everybody out. And here comes the lasso onto the Lifestealer, which completely just nullifies his positioning. Another 3-man stun, and they're just going to go through him. And the minus armor is minus 20 at level 3, the amplifier. And of course, you've got Vengeful Spirit there to boot, and Koiva, his buyback and just TPing in will actually help clean up the whole fight. And you called it as well, the BKB on Nature's Prophet was really very useful. It kind of rendered Storm useless. His BKB on Storm actually came pretty late. I believe it was around like the 35-minute mark. So unfortunately, that buyback on the bottom lane cost him a lot, and he needed a BKB plus 1 item on top to actually help. Because even if he had like, I wouldn't recommend it, but even if you have like a damage item or something on top, or just a hex if you can get it, MSS could have been a big impact. So unfortunately for him, mid-game decisions didn't get him where he wanted. So that concludes the post-game analysis for EG and Liquid, and of course our final game of the half-time here in the season. We've took a look at the standings, but let's tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We're going to have another 3 great matches. And we're going to be starting with Team Liquid versus Fnatic. So a tough match for them. They currently lost versus Alliance and Na'Vi thus far, Team Liquid, but they're looking good. They're sat in 4th place, and they can actually climb to that 2nd or 3rd spot, I believe, but they're going to have to take Fnatic down to get the momentum to do that. So that's going to be game number 1. Next up is going to be Virtus Pro versus EG. Very important match for both teams. No one can really afford to lose this now. EG obviously have only played 4 games, Virtus Pro played 6, but even with 6 losses, you might be able to go through with 4 wins, because obviously Team Liquid aren't up to their 4 wins yet either. So Virtus Pro need it, EG desperately want it as well, so that's going to be a great match to watch. And then last, we're going to have a kind of similar situation as our first game, where it's Fnatic against EG, and it's EG's chance to stop Fnatic's clean record of a 4-0. And again, if EG can take down a game off, Alliance and Fnatic, they're 2 important wins. Do you think they can do it? What do you think of tomorrow's games? Well, EG is the one that you can never really count out. I mean, against Alliance, everyone was like, yeah, Alliance probably win this. And if you look at it on paper, EG typically have the worst playstyle against Alliance, which is make mistakes, because Alliance are great at just crapping on you for messing up even once, right? They were the team who most effectively utilized the map out of any team, I would say, at TI3. Like, they were just so effective with how they moved around and such. So a style that is kind of really aggressive and sometimes you make mistakes is really bad against that kind of a team, because you just lose so much. But they came in today with their A game, at least for the first game that we had a chance to see them in, and they looked really strong. So if they can beat Alliance, they can beat Na'Vi.
I'm looking at it the other way around.
Or Fnatic, sorry.
Yeah, Fnatic.
If Fnatic wins their 2 games tomorrow, the way the results are, it's possible that they can clinch already their spot into DreamHack Winter with only 6 games played. Of course, there has to be some things going around, like 2 teams have to be at 4 or more losses, which is really, really close to happen. If they win versus, I think, EG they're playing, and BP loses to EG as well, there's a possibility where Fnatic tomorrow is saying, okay, we get the tickets to DreamHack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, and it's important where you actually place in the top 4 as well, because once you go into DreamHack Winter later on this month, it's 4 teams, and I think it starts off with the best of 3s. It's best of 3s or best of 5s?
No, it's best of 3s, and then the first day
best of 3s,
best of 3, and the other 4 games are best of 5.
Yeah, so it's important where you start, because I believe it's just going to be like you want the best road to the finals as possible, because it's all about getting to the finals and getting into that best of 5. So. All right then, guys. It looks like we're done for the day. That was a hard day's work for Monday. You happy?
What a long day.
Ooh, I'm aching.
I just woke
head
up.
to toe.
I haven't even eaten.
Yeah, that's true.
True as
Andy
well.
hasn't eaten yet.
Andy hasn't eaten today.
I'll tell you what, Andy. We're close up here. We'll go home. We'll get some food and we'll play some Dota.
How about it?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I play on your team, Andy?
You can always play on my team.
Kieran's been very upset.
You clearly are on the same team, guys. If
Yeah, we're
no
on
one
team
noticed.
Lumberjack.
I should have brought my glasses.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to head on home, and then twitch.tv/Draskell with 2 L's. I'll probably stream my POV, even though last night I did that and I was very drunk. It wasn't very good. Twitch.tv/2GD, and we'll play some games ourselves tonight, because that's what we want to do. And if you play some Dota tonight, good luck to you all there. But of course, now we're half-time through the games here at the ASUS ROG Dream League. All the matches are even more important going into tomorrow. So I hope you join us, and I hope you would enjoy today. And from everybody at the panel, we'll see you tomorrow.
It's time to extend. It's time to extend your domination. Extend your command precision with an 8200 DPI Pro Aim R3 laser sensor. Extend your atmospherics with a fully customizable 4 LED multicolor lighting system with effects. Extend the life and accuracy of your gaming with the Rocket Titan wheel, the Cone XTD Max Customization Gaming Mouse.